All right, guys, welcome to the week 8 update of the new city rebuild. We have a few things to cover today. We've been hard at work, so let's just dive right on in. As you can see, the city is looking really good, but I think it's also important to remember where it was just 4 weeks ago. As you can see, this is literally what it looked like 4 weeks ago. The whole downtown core was still being assembled. There was a lot of trash everywhere and clutter down at the other end where the airport is now. So we've really come a far way just in a matter of only a couple of weeks. As you can see, it's nice and clean now. We've decluttered the beach, and the beach is actually almost complete. If I go all the way down the line, you can kind of see that a lot of the water and rock work as well as sand has been completed, which is great. We're still waiting on some parts for an area, which I'll show you in a second. But for the most part, it's coming together. There is also this void down here and the tail end of the beach, which we're still trying to figure out. But basically right here is going to be kind of a rock jetty and some new water, which will then connect over here to the new fun park and fun zone area, which will be redesigned and rebuilt. But anyway, the area I was talking about is down here, which is where we're still waiting on some parts to finish the water through where the bridge is going to go. If you recall from, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, we were talking about this bridge, which will connect over into this kind of new area. So it'll go over here into the new beach town area. So this is what we're working on currently, and we're still waiting on some parts to finish this all out. And then in the back, we're going to have some retail shops and restaurants back here, which will be pretty cool, and it'll kind of carry through into the main city. But speaking of the main city, it was an exciting week because this week we actually started adding minifigs back to the city. If you've noticed in the last few updates, there actually weren't many minifigs spread out throughout the city. So we started putting them back this week and really bringing the city back to life, which we love to see because they have been missing in the city for about 2 months now, which is just crazy to think. But it's all coming back together and it's starting to look really good. It's starting to look like an actual city. We even have them down here in kind of the South Beach area, which is still under construction to a degree. If you recall from last week, this area was, let's just say, in much needed area for work. There's still some areas down here to be done, like the kind of the bike rental area and some of the sidewalks, as well as probably a tram stop or station and some road work as well. But we spent majority of this week retiling everything and just making the road come back together. There's still some areas, of course, to finish, but it's starting to look really good. And if you recall back, it was literally a huge clutter down here with a lot of work to be done. So this was the other night, just putting everything back together. Outside of that, we also added minifigures to the surfing area of the beach and finished the waves. Came out great in our opinion. We think it looks really, really good down here. This is going to tie into the new beach town area. So more on that in the future, but again, we think it's looking really, really good down here and just loving how it's all coming together. Put a boat in the middle just for size comparison. And then over here, we've started setting up guys on their bikes and just trying to figure out kind of, the new beach layout and what makes the most sense as far as minifigs and everything else. We've even got our trusty lifeguard back in his place, watching out for everybody. Looking down on the city, a lot of the vehicles are back in the city as well. And you can kind of start to see some of the flow of the traffic as well as just the overall layout. Everything's starting to look really good, which is exciting. And honestly, it's just really starting to feel like a city, which we're really excited about. It's looking really dense downtown, and it's just awesome. I wish you guys could see it in person. But those aren't the only updates that we have. As you guys know, we've actually been rolling out a bunch of military builds, which has been really fun to kind of venture into that space. But we've also been adding a ton to our website, like the new Tesla builds, which has been awesome, including the vehicles that go with it. And then we've also rolled out brand new airplanes. These are much larger than our last passenger planes, and we're really excited about these. These have taken weeks to design, but you can kind of see the size comparison compared to our older versions. So these are going to be sweet. But speaking of the airport, we have also been working on the runway. As you can see, there are now runway markings. This was really interesting to put together because what we decided to use were the tiles that come with the road plates. And then we used kind of light gray for the touchdown marks, which in our opinion was the best color to use because the white is just a little bit off and the light gray is still off, but honestly, it's a little bit closer to the light gray than the white. And we think it looks really good overall. There's still this area at the end that we need to finish, but overall, we think it looks really good for what we had to work with, I should say. So that is pretty much what we've been doing with the airport. Hope to have the airport cleaned up very soon. Here's a look back to what it used to look like before we moved it and trashed it, and that should be hopefully finalized soon. But anyway, guys, this is this week's update. Thanks so much for watching. We have more updates on the way, as well as shorts and TikTok, so make sure you're following us there. But that's it for this week, and we'll see you next week.